Alright, well, sorry about that, guys. Can appreciate. Oh, I can see two of you have opted on. Sorry, it's just been a bit of a mixture. I was going to do a cinema today, but I was late in getting everything set up, and I had this little sketch that's been laying around for a while, and I thought, oh, you know what? Why not? I'll just go for a little bit of Star Citizen, and a few people have mentioned it the last couple of times I've been on as well. So why not? Why not? We'll give this Cutlass, Black a bit of a go, and see how it goes. You know, I mean, it's all sci-fi anyway, isn't it? Anyway, isn't it? Sometimes I don't even speak proper English, but you know, it is what it is. Obviously, I still haven't got a better mic or a better camera. Because if I had a better camera, I might have been set up, 20 minutes ago. Because it was a real pain to get the camera set up today. The phone just kept dropping out and then dropping back in, and then it wouldn't do it kept switching to the back camera or the front camera, whichever you call it. The one that faces, oh, I don't know, the one that faces me, the crappy camera. So then it wouldn't do a resolution, and so here we are. Got to find my water. I'm still like a bit spun out. Just you'd think I would have everything sort of just set up and ready to go, but it just doesn't seem to work like that. So just to quickly go over as I always do, or as I've started to. Maybe I don't always. I've got a squirrel brush from Rosemary Co. that I use. This is the main brush I use, the Milan. This is actually a synthetic one, but it does wonders. And then for small details, I've actually got Milan ones. Yeah, these two. I've run out of the Vinci ones that I was using because they're a bit fucked at the moment. And again, the same thing with the paints again. We're mostly going with the burnt umber and in your ultramarine blue. You can see this is quite a blue. Let me just enlarge that a second. You can see this is quite a blue. It's got quite a blue sort of like tone to it. There are uh, some of these clouds in the back are a bit have a bit of a reddish tinge, and there is a bit. There is a little bit of warm. There's a little bit of warm colours in there anyway, but for the most part, it's it is very it is a pretty much a blue sort of colour. So we're going to go with that. There's a little bit of too much shadow on the thing there, but again, that's probably more to do with the way that I've got the camera set up today than anything else. So we'll just see how it goes from there. See, first things first is my little swish, but this time I'm gonna actually, I want to make these obviously a bit bluer this time for the actual picture. And it's been a while since I did anything else apart from Eve, so I'm just kind of hoping this is going to work right. And yeah, well, we'll just have to see how it goes, right? So we are going to do the normal swish, nice light sort of bluish colour, or bluish grey anyway. And because we've got these nice straight lines, I'm actually just gonna use it. I really do want to put a bit more blue in that and sort of lighten it up. So I've got a bit of a better blue sort of colour on there. I don't know if you guys are actually coming over from if you're actually just Star Citizen people or the normal people that watch the feed. Oh hey, but did you literally just hopped on? Okay, night mate. Yeah, I should probably stream earlier, and I considered actually doing a Instagram live today instead, or switching over to Instagram live. So I might drop the schedule for a bit and just get myself sort of like more sorted out, get some stuff sort of planned out and stuff, and then start streaming again and see where we go. So I'm gonna go straight across because I can see that's where these lines go. So it is a swish, but I'm not just gonna do it like a Z swish. I'm just gonna go straight across. Um, Obviously we've got a darker color here, but I don't need to worry about that. I'm just gonna do this. No, let's see. Just because I can see that's a bit watery, so you probably might not see this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to raise it up a little bit. There you go. There's the camera gone already. Wonderful stuff. Why has it done that? I'm having a lot of problems with this camera today. I'm not going to lie. It has been giving me a lot of trouble. Which is just giving me shit, really. It's really bothering me, but alright, we'll see if that works. So I was going to lift it up, and just so I can sort of like force the beads down. You see how it's running down the page, and just doing that like straight across, and then I can just yeah. Actually, do you know what? No, I'm gonna run with this one. I'm just gonna try and get that to drip. There we go. And then get my yeah, I should probably get. I really do need to get a better camera and stuff. But you know, it's all about being able to afford this stuff. So let me just mute this thing. Yeah, Eve usually has a bit more of a warmer, darker tone. I've tried lighting it up with a lot of contrast and stuff. So give me a second. So again, I haven't posted on any social medias or anything like that because I wanted to sort of like see what my sort of organic reach would be without posting. I should really post and see about getting more people, but to be fair, it's not all about getting the numbers and stuff anyway. You know, sometimes we just want to see what we've got organically, and then we can build more with that than we can with um, anything else. I don't know if any of you do social media or anything like that, but organic reach is tends to be a better metric to use. So if I just start streaming and I don't tell anyone, and then I find myself with like 80 people, um, I know that I've got quite a good reach. But if I find myself streaming and I've got 80 people, but I've had to post in 20 million channels and buzz it up for like 3 weeks and stuff like that, I don't really consider that to be a very good organic reach, because my organic reach was probably like only 10 people and stuff like that. Besides that, we want people who are interested to watch, not just anyone. So I'm hoping that this works out well. Like I said, it's been a while since I actually painted anything from Star Citizen. I think the last one was probably like 2 years ago, maybe. And you can see like from my palette, my palette's the same one I was using for the Dramiel, and literally all I'm doing is I'm just sort of like putting a bit more blue instead of brown. Um, hey Spicy, how's it going, mate? You were doing something from Star Citizen today. Just I had it. I was sketched it out the other day, and I was going to sketch the Cinnabon out, but I didn't really have time, and I was fucking around with the camera today because it just wouldn't work for me. So we're doing this. This is this is a Cutlass, a Cutlass Black, I believe, that I found, and I think it's from the actual the actual I don't know what they call them, the wallpaper files of Star Citizen itself. So I don't think it's an in-game shot, but it is undoubtedly like generated. So we've got a few colours here. Oh, we've got a bit of a thing. You can see I've left this one's it's quite loose as well. I've left quite a lot of the pencil marks in again because I was rushing to get this. Usually, like with a lot of the other stuff, I've started like erasing them more often than not. But sometimes I do like to leave them, and sometimes I like to do it in pen. But I haven't done it for a while. Just the left the pen marks in and stuff like that. So we're just gonna get a bit of this like bluish grey. In fact, now that it's got that blue undertone, I could probably just use my normal warmish colours over the top, and then it'll just default back, So let's see how this goes. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. Hopefully this will be a good stream. Yeah, to be honest with you, that dark underside is probably going to be a lot easier than it looks. It's because most of this is actually going to just be in shadow, but we'll see. It's the top bit I'm more worried about. And obviously I've got a light shining in my face as well, so I'm just trying to pick out the details at the moment. I can see that this area's got a bit more blue. It looks like I've missed a bit out here, so I don't know why, but I've got this bit here, but there's some like little details here that I haven't quite put in. So I'm just going to put them in quite loosely. So there's the little thing. This is the wrong pencil, and then a little shimmy, and then another little shape there, and then there's like a bar here, isn't there? Yeah, and you can see where this line just stops here. I know the cockpit comes up under here, and I know there's some details here, but I'm choosing to ignore them. Really, a bit like I probably chose to ignore these, but I just wanted to sort of like isolate them so that they are blue. I can see that this area here is a little bit more blue than this area, which tends to be a bit more grey, and it's the same with this bit here. So let's have a look and see how this goes. First I'm going to apply a light wash. As always, I'm going to go from left to right. Yeah, go from left to right, and we'll just do the whole wash here, pulling down and across. Just to get that greyish tone, get it a bit contrast. Again, I'm just going to try and be loose, so you're going to have to bear with any things. And the same with the Eve sort of paintings that I do. I'm basically gonna come in later on with the acrylics to sort of like mix, to bring out any sort of like bright colours, like all those light spots and stuff like that. That's all going to be brought out with some little bit of a white acrylic and stuff like that. And I will go over this again with darker colours, but for now I just want to get the general tone sort of fixed. I know this is going to be quite light, but again, it is on this sort of like this grey will what's the word? It will dry lighter anyway. And again, if I want to lighten it up, I will just bring in some acrylics and in a little bit, like a nice little white acrylic with grey and stuff, and bring that out. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. Obviously, I want to mix it up. I mix it up every time because the you can see here that it does have a tendency to oh, what's the word? Separate, I guess. Um, and we don't want it separating on in the palette, so that when we come to putting it down on the paper, it's going to separate even quicker, because it will separate anyway. Although sometimes it can leave quite like a nice little effect. And to be honest, if I'm dropping it down here, it's not going to really matter that much, because that's going to go a lot darker. And obviously this is what we call, this is probably like a mid-tone, yeah. And a lot of these dark colours are actually, a lot of these light colours on the dark bit are actually sort of basically, they're like mid-tones anyway. So I haven't marked this, I haven't done a very good job of marking this out properly, to be honest with you. But that's alright, because I was only doing this to mess around anyway, really. I was going to sort of like mess around with a Star Citizen picture, and go see how that sort of like went. So again, I'm speeding this up with a bit of the old hair dryer. So give me a minute. Oh, okay. I'll just reapply some of that tape for some reason. This, you can see it started to, I've used quite a lot of water on that, so it started to buckle a little bit. I'm not worried too much. I tell you what I am gonna do. I am gonna just grab some of this, and then let's get a little bit of texture on it. Um, yeah. I don't know where my toothbrush is. Oh, here we go. So the toothbrush can be a bit better for this. But we just want a bit of I just want a bit of texture in some of these lighter areas, because obviously, I'm gonna go over this again at some point. I can always lift little bits out, but I still want it to look like a painting. And I don't know if you can. Oh, yeah, you can see that. You should be able to see that on the stream. The little sort of dots and stuff like that. Try to start including a bit more of this in my things. And then there's some of these areas that are going to lend themselves a bit more better, like you see here. I'm just drawing in some of the colour to to sort of highlight those sorts of that area there. So basically, I've highlighted that area there by putting some darker colour on top of it, and and then this bit, I'm gonna we'll just lift it off like that, and then again underneath put a bit of water. And it is, you know, it doesn't really overly matter. I just wanted to have a bit of texture in the background. You know, if you know what I mean. So I'm just pulling that. Pulling that down a little bit, and then maybe just to lift a little bit off. Now we've also got this bit here that we're going to sort out a little bit later. There's two engine trails here and here, and again I'll probably lift. What I'll probably do is I'll come in later and I'll lift some of the paint off and then put some acrylic over the top to really bring them out and give it that engine look. And right now what I really need is a darker colour. So it means for us really what a darker colour means is it's just a bit of thicker paint. Obviously I don't use black, and I don't plan on using it in this one, but what we do is we just use the burnt umber and the ultramarine blue to create a really dark colour. And then for the most part we just layer it. We layer that on top of ones now, because I've got quite a lot of this dark area I want to do. I'm going to put a bit more brown in and follow it with some more ultramarine blue, keeping in that sort of bluish tone. Hey Rule, how's it going? You good? Gonna have to start giving some of you some top fan badges or something, ain't I? You know, start being my regulars. I'll have to give you if I give you a top fan badge, I'm gonna have to give you a send you a print or something. How does that sound? Yeah, not too bad at all. Getting the camera set up today was a bit of a nightmare, mate, honestly. But we are getting there. Yep, so that's the colour I want, and obviously just a bit more water in there just to give it a little bit more thinness. Yeah, there we go. I found that it's better to layer it up. For me personally, it's better to layer it up than go with thick layers. For some reason I can't seem to get thick layers of watercolour to really work for me, so I prefer to layer it up. And now we're going to find ourselves with a lot of these little black areas. Now I'm going to do this quite roughly, so don't expect any like magical miracles here. I want it to look rough, and again left to right, you know. And yeah, we're basically going with the darks first, which isn't, it's not that unusual, but it's just I prefer sometimes to do it like this than any other way, just because it's sort of like I feel like it helps me figure out where I'm going with stuff. Starfield, that's the isn't that the Bethesda one, yeah? So we've got a little, you see I've marked out the triangle here. Okay, so this picture is actually smaller than the one I'm looking at, so I was getting a bit confused with the proportions. Like I said, I sketched this out the other day, so it's a bit like, oh, where am I with it? Oh, I'd usually sketch something out and then paint it the same day, because otherwise I get very confused over the proportions and stuff. so you might see a lot more mistakes with this one than normally, but that's alright, you know, we don't really care about mistakes that much, do you know what I mean? Um, I haven't actually played it, my dad's got it actually, my dad does, I think my dad's played it, yeah, my dad's played that. And again, that's kind of a really, really, that colour is a bit darker than I want it. I want a bit more blue as well. Where's my blues? So I kind of want, oh, you know what, we'll go with this tone, and if it's, you know, we'll just allow it for now. We'll go with this general tone and stuff. So I kind of want to pull this dark colour down for the underside, here as well. And here. Have we got? Yeah, we can leave a little edge on that. Probably gonna end up with a bit of brown in this, but I'm not particularly too worried about that, because a lot of this is actually dark colours. I mean, even here you can see like the light really sort of brings it out, but for me that's going to be a chore to sort of like do that underneath with the watercolour, so I'll just do that and then cut back in with acrylics at a later point, you know. And again, I'm, you know, making this area just dark. So we can just pinpoint some lighter areas here. All of this is dark, and you'll see later on, like there's quite a bright light, like a whitish, not a whitish line, but a little light there, but it's not something that oh yeah, I think he's had his account, he had one of his accounts banned or something, and, you know, I think he's got a habit of pressing stuff he shouldn't press. um, you know, like you know, yeah, I don't know if any of you get it, but you get all these Facebook posts and stuff now where they're like, oh, you know, your page has violated terms. You need to, you know, press this link and then you press the link and they basically steal your account. For what reason? I don't know. I think they target accounts with quite a few followers or friends, and then they spam them with a lot of stuff. You know. As always, I've hit the point where I'm like, oh, I don't like the way this is going, to be honest with you. But I will be honest, that is very, very common. Most of the paintings I do, I'm like, oh, I don't like the way this is going, I should stop. So you just have to, sometimes you just have to keep going, you know. Again, this isn't as blue as I'd like it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And again, some of these areas are going to be best brought out later on with a bit of acrylic, and obviously just trying to keep it loose. I know why I left that bit out now, because I was just going to be like, nah, you know, um, bring it out. So we have like some of these lighter colours here. Okay. That we're gonna do with a bit of the background there is nice and grey. Bringing this in, sort of darkening some of these shapes out, but not quite as much as we kind of want, really. Well, not right now. You see some of these colours haven't quite gone very well. But it's alright. I'm not going to panic. And then obviously we've got these little window panels. Now there's a lot of dark areas again in this picture. Yeah, the camera's been a bit. It keeps flipping in and out. It's really irritating, man. Because I do kind of want to get a new camera, but I kind of want to, chill on it for a bit as well, So yeah, well, I don't know, because some people just have a bit of common sense when it comes to, you know, random pages sending you comments like, "Oh, click here because your account's about to be banned," and then other people are like, "My account's going to be banned," and they've never actually done anything. So I should have pretty much figured out what was going on, because he kept saying to me like, "Oh, they're always banging on about banning in his account," and I'm like, "What for?" And he's like, "I don't know," like, sort of thing. So I should have put two and two together, but I didn't realise he was getting those sorts of messages and stuff. So I'm just gonna let it dry a bit. And actually, like, we're at the stage where um, I can, if it was an Eve ship, I could sort of like rush it along. But it's a ship I'm not very familiar with, and I'm kind of sat here thinking, I kind of just want a little bit of time to try and figure things out and let it dry naturally as well. Because otherwise I might have ended up with a few puddles of colours not I didn't really want. Plus I wanted a drink. I've got a nice little protein shake here. Um, you can obviously see here is a lot darker. And can you see on the, I don't know if you can see it here, but you should be able to see the colours on this are now separating. So it's starting to go a bit browner, and that's why I have to keep mixing it. The pigments and stuff keep doing that. I should probably get a colour specific for this, but I like to mix the two colours. I like the way it looks. So now I have to figure out what parts of this I want to keep and what parts I don't. Now originally I kind of wanted to I kind of like the general tone of it so far, and I kind of just want to, if I want to keep it loose, there's a few details here that I want to put in, which are the I don't know if you can see it, but there's some little. Let me just enlarge that a minute, and just so you can see on this engine here is the area that I'm going to talk about right now. So if I just pull it out a little bit, you can see there's some little dots. I mean, you can barely see it to be honest with you, but there's some little dots that of detail and stuff that I'm going to put in there. And I'm not sure if I should go dark. I feel like I should go darker. Yeah, the lights I'll put in later. They'll be the last. Yeah, basically they'll be the last thing. So some of the highlights, the light here, and the four lights in the middle. These two little lights at the back, and the two engine trails. There's a little light patch here. The couple of little lights here. Those will all be the last sort of details to come on. I'll pick them out with a bit of acrylic because it's just easier than, on some paintings you can avoid an area to keep it white, and then in other paintings it's just easier to come back in later and stuff like that. And I find with like a lot of the spaceships and stuff that I do, it's a lot easier to just come back in later rather than try and paint that light in now, which would just cause me. It would just make it take a lot of extra time and stuff like that. So I'm sure there'd be purists that would expect me to do that, but that's not something I particularly want to do right now. What I want to do right now is I want to pick out some of the darker tones, and again I can see that this is being a bit. I just want to get it sort of flattened out a minute, because I can see it sort of like buckling. The it's good paper. I can see it's 200 GSM and stuff here. But sometimes when I use quite a lot of water, it does have a habit of buckling a little bit. I think it makes it worse when I use the hairdryer as well. And again, like usually I could give it a couple of hours underneath the block to sort of like help flatten it out, which we don't really have one. We're streaming, so I've kind of got to wing it. But we are at that point where it's kind of dry now, and I do want to bring in some stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and pick out some of these little details, and I'm going to try and do it like a more traditional watercolor artist would do, rather than pick it out with any massive amount of like accuracy. I've got these little lines marked out here, so I can see there's a little square here, and then there's like these little lines almost, which I don't really wanna touch. But and then we've got our little our little rectangles here, which I'm just gonna bring in like that, and then almost like I'm like highlighting the darks really here. We have got a couple of colours that I'm gonna be looking at bringing in here. I can't really see. It is so dark here that I can't really see what's going on properly. I can see some lines, and that's kind of what we want really when we're doing this type of thing. So I'll probably I can see it's quite a lot darker than some of the other colours. So I'll probably bring in some colours later, or some more colour later to sort of help with that. There's a block of dark there, and then the second block of dark there, and obviously there are some lines going on here and abouts, and I kind of really want to just darken that sort of area up. You can also see there's a little line here that I didn't actually see. I thought that was just one of my guidelines, but it doesn't appear to be. and I'll probably try and like wait for this to dry and then bring in some more colour. And yeah, so or light or shadow, whatever you want to call it, basically. Um, Again, this is gonna try and make this a little bit more like watery without making it too watery. So we're gonna just this I think is just gonna be again another type of block job. So I can see this is, yeah, there we go. I'm going to leave some areas where I think it might be nice to have some little bits of texture or colouring left, you know, and again very loose details here, because I'm trying to be as fast as possible, but still get some sort of detail in. And again, for me, this whole bottom part here is actually really quite dark. Now I can see that there's some sort of details there, but again, we just want the illusion of details. In fact, that's quite wrong. That bit there, I've marked that out wrong, and I don't know why. So we're just going to try and correct that by doing a straighter line, and then hopefully that'll correct that. I can see there's some bluer, lighter areas here with some darks again, little triangles here. I'm not going to try and pick out the details that well, and we can see that this goes up to about here. Then it's a straight. It's more or less a straight with some round details here. And again, some of these areas are going to be very finicky to pick out with the normal watercolours, so we're just going to sort of like leave it and pick it out later, I guess, and just try and give the illusion of those details as opposed to actually working and really trying to force all those details in right now. Like this area is pretty much just that's just a really dark area. You can see some of the colour separating here. I'm gonna hopefully that'll sort of like lend itself to what I'm trying to achieve here, and just sort of fix itself, not fix itself, I should say. Yeah, you know, I should say help with the image. I've got this little bright spot here. I think it's like an undercarriage or something. I'm not really sure what it is, but above this is kind of like a darker colour as well. That's going to have to be brought out maybe a bit more. Maybe again, you know, be better if I bring that in with some more acrylics. Just the same as this bit is quite dark. Underneath here, but there's a bit here that's quite light, So I'm going to try and start keeping some of these details now. And again, there's this window here that's dark, a little panel here. There's always some weird, whenever I'm looking at ships or even planes and stuff, there's always these weird little shapes. They're never like quite they're never quite just simple windows. So we're going to sort of like hope that works for us. There's a little dark area here, and again, some of these areas I'm going to basically tidy up later. Oh, smudging. Yeah, no worries, mate. So yeah, these areas here are what I'm going to try and bring down, and then the lights. So again, dark, dark, dark. Lots of contrast between this and the top sort of pictures. We've got some lights on this side, so I kind of want to just isolate that little square box there, but I do want some of these shapes to sort of like start coming out a little bit now. In a sort of like rough, loose sort of way. This one's actually a lot darker than this wing, or whatever you want to call it. Is a lot darker than the other side. So we're just gonna do it, and then again, I'm not going to do all of that because I can see that, we can see that some of this is just, you know. Again, we've got some smudging going on. Ignore the smudging, guys. We're going to just say that is a Bob Rosserism, if that's such a word. But basically, if any of you have never heard of Bob Ross, he would say, oh, these happy little accidents, just leave them there. They'll add some flavour to what we're trying to create here today. I mean, you can see it is a Cutlass. So we don't have to worry too much about a lot of stuff when we're painting things like this. Mostly we're just working on tones. So I need to just pick out, or I want to just pick out this little box there, and then there's a, like there is on this side, there's an actual box here. This, probably isolate it there, and again another line here, little band here, and there's a little thing here, some dark colours here. Let's just do that. So it's a bit of a blur because I'm trying to pick it out, but it is difficult with the light I've got. So I'm going to try and use that as my excuse to sort of like not pick out that bit of detail. Just have it kind of like loose. And then again up here we've got some nice dark lines against a lighter sort of thing. There's a little block here that's a bit darker. Obviously then you've got some dark lines here, followed by some shadow and brighter lines again. And that's what we're trying to pick out now. The little bits of shadow and light. So what do we think so far, guys? Is this image working, or should I quit my day job yet? Just yet? See you later, Patahitas, Patahita, right? That sounds Spanish. That sounds very, very Spanish. Good night, mate. So again, we're going to give it a little bit of time to dry. And we're an hour in. So, well, probably about 30 to 40 minutes in actual painting, because I faffed around quite a bit at the beginning. So does anyone watching actually play Star Citizen, or have I actually got a stream without any Star Citizen people in for once? So again, I'm going to get some water. I'm going to water down, really water down one of these colours. I'm going to get some more blue. I really want to get that blue in there. Work it in, and a bit more water. Okay. So I've got this sort of like watery grey sort of colour. Let's force it all down there, and then just gonna dip my brush in, my little toothbrush, and just gently spray over it. Yeah, I've actually got a Star Citizen account, but it's not something I've played much, or at all recently at all. I think because I had it ages ago when it wasn't really working properly. I haven't really revisited it as well, because I don't really actually have I don't know who of the people I know play it and stuff, and it's not really a game I want to play on my own, so to speak. So we're just giving it a little bit of texture now. I'm just going to let that dry because I don't want to blow it everywhere. Again, I'm going to get some water. I'm going to lighten up some areas. Just by dabbing tissue and stuff like that on those areas that I want to be lighter. Let's have a look. Kind of want this area to be darker, really. This area here, I want it to have a darker look. Let's see if I can get that to work for me. Let's just get a real dark colour here and just I have the Elite Dangerous as well, and again, similar sort of thing. I always find myself coming back to Eve. To be honest with you, now I know that some of these games are really quite good. I know that Elite's a really good game, but I just feel like it just doesn't really have that same sort of level of freedom. Because the thing is as well in Elite, in Eve, I do a lot of trading. I do like the station trading and stuff like that, and I don't know, man. I just don't really feel like it's there in Elite. Elite feels like like they say, it's a space truck, space trucking simulator more than it is spaceships game. Um, so that's gone a bit browner than I'd like, but it's alright. It'll do. I just wanted a general sort of like darker flecks on there. Might excuse my head a minute. Yeah, I'm just looking to pick out some minor details here. Um, sort of, you know, again. Oh, kind of like need to let it dry a bit, and I kind of want to really want to put a wash over this one, just to make this side a little bit, this bit here a little bit darker as well. Yeah, yeah, they did. Uh, Eve's like you're trading with other people for the most part. Elite, it's like there's so many things that annoy me. Like if you want to start the game at this point, you start in the stations and stuff, and it'd be really nice if you could just, if you're starting a game, you could actually just start where your friend was. Maybe they could buy you a ship and just give you the ship, rather than having to like undock, eject a bunch of stuff so they can scoop it, then they have to sell it in the station, then undock again and scoop a bunch of stuff. And it's just like some of those interactions are just really like, oh, like very tedious. Um, and yeah, it's like you have to go from A to B to A to B and stuff like that. You can't really play markets or anything like that, which you would have thought at least in the capital systems there'd be opportunities to do that, even if there's a lot of NPC stuff going on. Um, but and it's not even like the NPCs actually. Um, if you intercept NPCs like freighter NPCs or whatever in a system, it's not like they've even got stuff that system wants on their market. They'll have like random stuff, or it doesn't feel. There's a lot about it that sort of like just it kind of gave me that sort of like, no, I can't really uh, be bothered to play this. My dad doesn't really play it either, which was one of the main reasons I got it. It's when I was little. It was my dad that got me into these space games really. Um, you know, that was I remember when I was little and having my half hour on the PC, not the PC on when I was little it was a BBC Micro, and my dad was elite on the BBC Micro, like literally reached elite, and I think the most I got to when I was a kid was competent. Um, and the most I actually got to in any other elite game actually was pretty much, if I remember rightly, it was dangerous. I think I've never actually got to elite rank in any of the elite games, which is kind of amusing. But you know, so again, I'm just trying to pick out some details that I haven't really. Oh, So you can see I've gone wrong there. That's another one for the that's another one for the acrylic, as we say. Um, but it's a good game, you know. They did a really good job of it. I just, you know, I just felt like it wasn't a game for me. So I keep going back to Eve. You know, it just ticks a lot of boxes. Um, and I would say unfortunately, but I mean it is kind of fortunate, you know. And even though I don't play it as much as I'd like to nowadays, that's mostly because of circumstance, not anything else. You know, like I have to work, and then aside from working, I'm trying to do other stuff, and you know, it's not really uh, been practical for me a lot this year to really play computer games as much as I'd like to, and I do tend to get I do get bored quite quickly. Um, Obviously, in Eve I do trade in, which is alright, but it does get very dull. And I actually like solo PvP. I am. Hey Pete, how's it going? You did not message me on I've forgotten what it's called. Discord. After I asked you to. What was that about? So just putting a little bit of lighter, like a wash of colour there, because I kind of want to bring that down, the tone down on that one. But you know what? I kind of want to do the same. I kind of want to do the same here as well. I want to darken that up a little bit. No worries, mate. You know how it go. I know how it goes. Do you know what I mean? Real life can be a bit of a chore. So you can see that's going to blur out some of this work now. But I'm not worried. You know, we can always use that to our advantage. And again, I'm going to just darken, put a little wash over some of these as well. Some of these probably going to be brought out again with yeah, brought out with some acrylic later. I did play Star Citizen a little bit. I mean, it must have been my perception of time is really crap. So what to me might feel like 2 years ago might actually be more like 10 years ago. So I'm very crap with that. I've been in my current job like 3 years, I think, and yeah, I keep getting that confused. So yeah, again, we're at that point where I just want to let it dry a little bit and figure out what direction I'm taking with this. 3.23. Mm, yeah, I've kind of it's still in like alpha, isn't it? Really. Well, I would have thought it would be the opposite way round because, you know, it's not like they're actually gaining any real. I mean, they've been at it a long time now, Pete, and it's still, uh, you know, it's still not really finished, is it? I mean, I can appreciate they've probably put a lot of stuff in the game, but I'm still like, hmm. I think we're at that stage now where I'm looking at it and going, I need some finer detail on this brush right now isn't really cutting it, you know. So if you just bear with me a minute, guys, I'll be right back, and I need to go to the loo. I'm gonna let this dry a second, and then I'm probably gonna start with some acrylics and that on top of it. I should get some elevator music. Oh, okay. Random tunes. Who are Fortinet anyway? I don't actually know who that is. Let me just squeeze over here. Yeah, none of these. You see, like the problem with these brushes when you're using it, or at least when I use acrylics. So you can't see that, can you? At least when I use acrylics, is the brush is kind of fray. I don't actually know how to fix that because there's a bunch of acrylic here, and I do wash them. They just, you know, they just fray. There's not really a lot I can do about it, I guess. Oh, be right back again. Caught my leg there. Yes, I know. Quite a few people keep saying I should get a new mic. Yeah, I did write down some suggestions, but I don't know what I put where I put them right off the top of my head. But yeah, some suggestions did come up on my last stream. Um, I did say about the camera and stuff like that, and a lot of people were like, no, you definitely need a new mic because your mic's shit, basically. Yeah, like a snow thingy, I think was what someone suggested. I think it was Tina that suggested it. Yeah, I know. The other thing is I probably have a habit of talking quietly as well. Do you know what I mean? I thought you were a stoner, Rule. So again, I'm gonna grab a little bit of this and a bit of this. There we go. Pop it in here and I've lost my blue. Where is it? Just a little bit of the ultramarine blue there. And I kind of want a lot of water in this. A bit more blue. And a lot more water. Probably not that much blue actually. I'm sort of like flitting between these colours now. Because it's kind of a turquoisey colour. So, it's not really a turquoisey colour, but it's not this blue either. So we just have to go with what we got. I mean, I do kind of want to bring in that colour because if I don't do it now, it will make the light look a bit wrong. Cerulean blue. Let's try a bit of cerulean blue, shall we? We can try that colour. We can try a bit of this colour. I do actually like cerulean blue. I don't use it that much. Still not really getting the colour that I want. But we'll see. We'll just roll with this for now anyway, otherwise we'll be here all day mixing colours. Yeah, like I said, it's not really the colour I want, but right now it'll do. And I'm just gonna, I want this to be really, really watery, so I just want to try. Okay. Yeah, it's not really the colour we want. So here, I'll see it now. Just on this corner coming down, like this, at an angle, is a little... Okay, we'll roll with this colour for now. Light earth box. We've got a lot of little lines here that are showing up that aren't actually don't actually look like they're attached to anything. So I'm gonna kind of like go. I'm just gonna roll with this color for now, and then we'll see how it goes. Some of it I can afford to be a bit. Loose with anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not really trying to be. Yeah, so like these spots are where I can sort of start putting a bit of blue. Yeah, that cerulean blue might be nice to have a bit darker, but it's alright. I mean, I'm just putting some indicators anyway for now. I know another bright blue there, bright blue here. Well, I say bright blue. It's not really going to be bright blue. It's going to be like a blue white light. Same here. Right on that, see that line that I made earlier? It's just going to be a little circle, and I could probably do with a little bit of a halo, like a dark blue halo, before putting the white in. But again, because it's acrylic, I can afford to sort of like just put that in and then maybe come back in later. There's some little lines that I don't need to worry about there. These sort of, again, some little lines there. I think it's like, looks like gears. Yeah, it looks like gears. And yeah, Yeah, all in all, this wasn't like, it's not like details I needed to overly worry about. It was just details I sort of like wanted to sort of include. Most of this is actually, I need this whiter colour for, and this needs to be kind of watery now. Probably more watery than I've made it there, but we'll see. It's always a we'll see, never a definitely the one. You know, I've applied my main little bits of blue that I wanted to right now. I mean, there are some other areas back here, but they look darker anyway. And I kind of wanna bring these colours out. We've got a nice little white line here. White, I should say, like brighter line here, and here. There's some little bits going on here as well. Now this will probably, this should okay, so they could probably go a bit bigger, and let's have a look. I really want to kind of bring this in like a bit of a grey, but more white, you know. Hey Satch, how's it going, mate? You alright? Let's grab some of this darker colour here. So I do mix watercolor with acrylics, because they can be pretty similar, which is what I'm doing now. I'm just mixing a bit of my watercolor with acrylics. I kind of want this to be watery, because I want it to be like really transparent. So yeah, that'll kind of do, I hope. And the reason for that is because now, let me just get rid of some of the excess paint there. It's because now when I do like the little highlight spots here, for example here, it should be quite transparent, like it'll dry in a way that I don't need to worry about darkening it down again. And it should hopefully hopefully, I did say hopefully. Dry in a way that is, you know, helps me out rather than does anything else. So little triangle here, like again, like so. It's not about picking out all the details, just some or enough of the details that it sort of really sort of like brings it out. This area here I kind of want to sort of lighten up. Well, I missed it. I was old man boomer napping. I blame Pete. Hey, cynical. If it's not Pete's fault, it's Itchy's for shooting well. Everything, everyone. It's nice to know Pete doesn't change. Oh, that's kind of like the you know the flavour I was after, really. And again, there's a bit of a it's sort of watery enough for some things, but not watery enough for others, and I kind of want to. Oh, okay, so that'll do. There we go. That's what I wanted. So I want to bring this up a little bit as well, and this colour I wanted to bring out a bit. Well, that's kind of nice, though, isn't it? You must be missing from a few channels though, or although I don't actually see Pete that much anymore either, to be honest with you. Um, and we're gonna just do really light again, more water, and just to sort of like irritate this with some lighter lines, just lines. I don't want to do anything too drastic. Just again, it's that illusion that we're looking for of detail uh, in most cases. You know, so these little lines here. And I think some of this area is going to go a little bit lighter, because I can see that, you know, like this bit. I kind of want to bring out a little bit. Maybe I'll end up darkening this down a little bit because of that. You know. And again, I might apply another wash to some of these other areas. Now, because the acrylics, once the acrylic dries, I won't need to worry too much about that colour itself. Let's try and get this nice bright edge here. Don't think it's going to go, is it? So we're just, yeah. We are going to deal with these lights in a very different fashion shoon. Right now I'm just trying to do a couple of little things, like, so I can see the little lights here. They're better if I just do that right now and then go back in an orange. It's the same with these two here. And then go back over them at another point. And yeah. How long? How long have I been painting this so far? Do you mean? So again, look, I'm just gonna bring this one back around because I lost some detail there earlier. So I'm just sort of like lightening that colour up a little bit. Some of these little lines I actually quite like doing. They are quite nice. And again, I kind of want to, you know, bring that sort of like metally sort of like look. I think that'll probably do for me right now. Maybe bring in a little line here to sharpen up this dark edge, and then just to sort of like highlight that sort of area. We've got a lot of this stream. If you meant this stream as from, it's probably about an hour and a half. So about an hour, I think, roughly on this one. We're just going to sort of like bring in some of these sort of like background details with this little bit of faded blue now. And I'm being real loose with this because if we look, let me just again, if we look, there is some shadow work here that is just sort of barely seeable. So I kind of want to bring that in, but without damaging what I've done too much. Again, there's another. Ooh, that was way too bright. And some of these colours are quite nice actually to work with. And again, here, just to probably going to end up having to go back over some of these darks to try and bring it out again. Which isn't too. It's not really a problem, but right now I'm just sort of like loosely putting in some line work, some little details here and there. sort of help try and bring that, just bring it out a little bit more than what it was. Because some of this detail was lost with my overzealous application of red laser firepower. Yeah, probably. I think it might actually be an older picture, to be honest with you. And I found it and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. And some of the guys keep mentioning Star Citizen, so I was going to do a Cinnaball today, but my stream was a little bit late, so I ended up doing this Cutlass Black instead. So for those who are like Eve, probably not happy about it, but for those who like Star Citizen, because we have got quite a few. To be honest, I think quite a few of the guys on Eve actually play Star Citizen, or have played it, or intend to play it, or will play it at some point. Um, Both games are sci-fi anyway. So you know, and I'm kind of like sort of like at that point now where I'm like, you know, like that was a real loose sort of like line right there. And a lot of these are getting looser as we go. Oh, but you know, that's exactly what we kind of want as well. I just wanted a kind of a quick sort of loose deal. Not very happy with these colours at the back. I kind of want these to be a bit more, and I mean, I suppose it's the same with that. You know, I kind of want them to be a bit more. You know, with that sort of like cold blue look, but they don't really. You know, it doesn't really. Oh. Yeah, actually, do you know what? I think that's a bit better than it was. Ballistics, I don't even know what that is, mate. I'll be honest with you. Is he on about the? Are you on about the lights? Every time I do lights, I can't help thinking. I really, really, really can't help thinking about Star Trek. You know, there were 3 lights. It's just one of those things. Yeah, I'm not really sure, because I don't, like I said, I haven't really played it, you know, so... Well, to be honest, I don't even know everything about the ships in Eve, and I play that quite a lot. You can ask me as much as you want about Titans and Capitals. I do not have a clue. I don't know their stats. I just don't know. You know, this little thing here. You know what I'm gonna do as well, just because I can. Oh yeah, that was right. We're gonna do some. We're gonna do some lifting now. Oh, that's terrible. I really shouldn't use that water for this. So just bear with me while I get some different water. Well, I can understand why. Yeah, no worries, Verm. You have a good one, mate. All right. I think, um, you know, to a lot of maybe a lot of the alliance sort of leaderships and stuff in Eve. Definitely, I don't think. Uh, I mean, CCP might be worried about their player count as a business sense when it comes to Star Citizen, but you got to remember they are, you know, they are gamers as well, and the chances are there's a lot of CCP that uh, play things like Star Citizen. Um, I mean, it wouldn't put it past Helmar himself to be playing Star Citizen, for example. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not it's not something I'd think would be out out of 3 minutes. I mean, we're all sci-fi fans, right? Do you know what I mean? If somebody released a if somebody released like a Babylon 5 game or a Star Trek, well, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of difficult, isn't it? It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. So, all right, that's kind of cool. But you know, it's not. I mean, I think when Elite came out, I think Elite was, if I remember rightly, Elite was actually a game that inspired um, Eve in the first place, right? So it's logical that they play the game. Plus, you know your competition. You know, if you're sat there playing Star Citizen and you're going, wow, this game's really bloody good. We're lacking or something like that. You're really going to sit there and be like, oh, actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Elite, the original Elite, was inspired. Sorry, Eve was inspired by the original Elite back in the 80s, I believe. Um, so yeah, long time ago. So again, I'm gonna get. Where's my bloody toothbrush gone? Yeah, gonna just. Yeah, bring in some of these colours. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say less competent. It's just their vision differs to what you or I might want to do in a game. Like I always thought it was a bit weird that FDev don't want player trading. And then when you look at Eve, it's kind of like a core component is player interactions between each other. So I mean, Eve definitely wouldn't work with that sort of like. If you couldn't, can you imagine Eve without? That would just be strange, wouldn't it? To play Eve without being able to trade with other players, you'd just be like, this is insane. This just does not make sense. What, they limited their game or what? I mean, I thought one of the main reasons Dust didn't really work out was because of the well, it was what's the word? It wasn't yeah. What did they do that with Elite as well? Yeah, I will be honest with you. It was kind of I was like so disappointed with Dust being just for the PS. What was it, the PS3 or something like that? I was like, why have they done that? And then I was really looking forward to you know, the PC version, and it just never happened. And I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing, wasn't it? But you can't we can't win them all, can we? So I never actually played Odyssey because I couldn't get. It's very difficult to get friends onto Elite. To be honest with you, I couldn't get my dad on it. My brother played for a little bit. None of the guys I was in court with really played it, and those that do just were playing more like a like solo space trucker type thing more than anything else. So it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't something I could get people on. Um, Much to my disappointment. Um, okay, we're sort of like 2 hours in, and I'm sort of like looking at this and going, what details do I need? And I think I know exactly what I need. I need a cup of tea. That's what I need. Yeah, no, I've got it. I've got the. That's the disappointing thing as well. I've got the the infinite updates for Elite Dangerous. Patch. Oh God, what is going on? Do you see what happens with some of these colours? Like, I mean, really, it's just the acrylics now everywhere. Oh God, what a mess. Yeah, but I've never actually played Odyssey. I can play it if I wanted to. I can't remember. And then you got me on. I started playing a game called. Oh, I've played other games like survival space sim type games and that, and I'm just like, oh, these are really really good. But get me on Odyssey, and I'm just like, oh. I mean, I played No Man's Sky longer than I played Elite Dangerous. Put it that way. And I don't particularly even like No Man's Sky, but it just has it just seems to have a better playability. Again, for me, like I'm it's like Civ 6. Civ 6 isn't my favorite game, but it has a lot of aspects to it that make me keep playing it. You know, I really 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 like Stellaris. Really like the game. I can't play it. I just can't. I just cannot fucking play it. It's so, and I really want to. I bought some patches. I really do like. I really, really do like Stellaris, but it's just wow. Like talk about a complicated, long, long, long game. And I just, by the time I come back to it, I haven't got a clue what I was doing because it's so complicated. Um, like so complicated. I'm just always lost in Stellaris, no matter what I do in it. I can play it on easy, and I'm still like, oh, what does this do? Oh, I didn't know that existed. How do I do this? How do I do that? Yeah, I've never quite figured it out. Stellaris is a really like I think a really really nice game, but I just haven't figured out how to play it in any way that is enjoyable to me, and I do really enjoy those types of games. Civ 6, I've sort of like figured out how to play. Nothing, I don't think. I think Civilization 2 was probably my favourite Civ game out of them all, but that was because it was just easy. It was just easy to mod for me. So I used to make like these little graphics patches. I had a 40k one, a space one. I had like loads of these little different patches and stuff like that. So we're gonna just lighten this up. We're actually using an acrylic colour right now. So I've got my little colours on here. We're actually using an acrylic sort of black, I guess you'd say. Same colours. I've used ultramarine blue and these two colours here, the ultramarine blue and the burnt umber. Always using the same colours personally, but I just needed this little fine brush so that I could add a few bits of light flavour to this picture. Maybe bring out some other areas, and sort of like highlight some areas that I kind of want to go a bit darker, maybe like here. Not too sure about in here. We'll put in some little randomized things there, because I can't actually pick out any details here or there. But basically what I wanted to do was, there's a bunch of little dots here, this little one here, you know, interesting that this window panel's gone a bit skewy on me, for me, I should say. Oh, there's a little window thing there. But yeah, I do quite enjoy Civ, I will admit. Not very good at it, but I do enjoy it. I'm a lot better at talking about games than actually playing them, or definitely not. I mean, probably everyone and their dog wants to make a game, but can you imagine the amount of work that actually goes into them? That's why I always have to remember, like, whenever I'm talking about, like, it'd be nice to see this in a game or whatever. They're bloody, they are complicated, man. They're not bloody easy, are they? They really, really are not easy things to do. I'm pretty much like a footballer sitting there and going, oh, why can't we have this? Why can't we have that? Well, because it's not possible. It's probably the most likely answer in all of those cases. You know. This camera's not, I don't know whether if it's my screen or not, but it's not, I don't really feel like it's picking up this picture very well. I'm actually going to get rid of the, I'm going to get rid of this for now, and instead of zooming in, I'm actually going to lower the camera for a change. Because the zoom in's not as good as just lowering the picture. I've got a bit of an issue where the picture actually, I've actually got it on the board and it won't go any higher because the bar is actually stopping it from going higher. So I'm just gonna lift it off there and yeah, put it up a little bit higher there. Okay, and then maybe we'll lower it a little bit more. Oh, okay. So what do we think, guys? Write your answers on a postcard and send it to 10 Downing Street, Buckingham Palace, King of England, LGO. I'm not actually the King of England, just in case somebody actually was like, well, blimey, is he actually the King of England? Unlikely, but And again, you know, I've got the acrylic on there now, and I just kind of just want to just another little light wash here. Yeah, I know. A bit of a darker one here, just to sort of accentuate some of these areas again. Yellow. You have to have banana socks. They have to have bananas on it. Like, if they don't have bananas on it, they're not real socks. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm going to get my mother's pen here. This is a pen my mum used to like writing with when she was alive. And it's a really nice. Oh, I'm not showing it. It's a really nice fountain pen. Really nice one. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to suck up a little bit of. I'm just going to suck up a little bit of ink here, and we've got like a really nice turquoise colour. I really need to get some actual ink for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign this painting now with my mum's pen. I'm going to put it in the corner here, and hopefully this will actually work. Let me just. But it might not. It might not actually work, guys. So we'll try it. We'll try it here. So that's got a little bit of. A little bit of my mum in it. Let's see, for posterity. But I've got to get some good, better painting, better ink for that. Like, so that is our painting for this evening. I just don't think I've really brought the colours out on that. Maybe I will do some more to it. Maybe not. I did want it quite loose and quite rough, and you know I put the I don't know. There's just stuff I might do to it, but I did want it quite rough anyway. You know, quite overall, I'm quite happy with it. But yeah, the Cutlass black, guys. So I don't know what to do now. I should probably make a cup of tea, and well, I'm glad you like it, guys. I, you know, Star Citizen does tend to have a lot of like these really great scenes, and I think part of that is because you do run around with your ships. So yeah, yeah, do you know what I mean? They do, you know, you can run around the ships and stuff like that. Um, so they do have that kind of light flavor, and you can take in-game shots. Sorry, in-game shots, and they do look like they're coming from a person's perspective. Um, you know, in comparison, like a Merlin or some sort of like an Eve frigate would dwarf this thing. You know, I mean they are massive ships, aren't they? I think an Eve Online frigate compared to like a Boeing 747 is Well, a 747 is probably about the same size as this ship, I would imagine. Um, yeah, yeah, they are massive, massive, massive ships. Um, so you just, and because you're not running around, you don't really get that sense. Like, I mean, on the picture, on the screenshot I've got here, I know what I've forgotten. I know what I've left out. The so on the screenshot here, there's people in the picture, and Eve doesn't have that. Whenever you see a screenshot, that it's just a ship, so you don't really have that that thing where you look at it and go, "Cool, blimey, that's big," or "Oh, look at that on the landing pad with a couple of people" type shots. The yeah, you also don't get really get sunrises and stuff. Like, you don't get really these types of planetary shots either, because you know yeah, yeah, because there's more things for you to look at and sort of like balance it in your head with the ship, whereas Eve ships, for the most part, people are just like little dots. Um, so you don't really get, you can't really, it's harder to put yourself in the shoes of a person in Eve, because you just don't see people running around and stuff like that. I'm hoping with their changes that they're making, these new updates and stuff like that, they might bring in um, some some of that into Eve. Like, maybe you'll be able to actually finally run around the station or something. We'll see, we'll see. I think it is. There's a lot of ways that Eve can evolve. I mean, it's the same as Star Citizen, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of room for these games to sort of like grow. Um, and we have to sort of like wait and see what happens more than anything. Um, do we have any? It's just those orange, isn't it? Just those orange bits. So I'm gonna just. It's kind of weird how, like, I do these sort of like little highlights and stuff, and the amount of peach color I actually use compared to what I thought I'd use. I'd be like, well, hang on a minute, why is that a peach color? Like, um, and then you look at the picture and you're like, well, it doesn't look like peach on the picture, but to me, like, this is like a pinky, peachy color right now. You but there we go. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. My favorite Star Treks when I was little, it was always like the original TNG stuff, and then later on, I really got into the Next Generation, and Babylon 5. Babylon 5 was, sorry, not Babylon 5. Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine kind of did remind me quite a lot of Babylon 5. I love Babylon 5. That was a great series. Some of the characters I didn't really like, or didn't really feel for, I should say. But I really, really did love Babylon 5. It's kind of a shame that there wasn't more of it. I did quite like Lando. He's probably one of my favourite characters. Um, uh, like, he had quite a bit of depth to him. Um, but Star Trek, the new ones, specifically the was it STDs? The new series, Star Trek Discovery, they call it STD. Um, yeah, that says it all really for me. Um, I was just very, very, very disappointed with the new Star Trek. But I do like. I kind of liked um, the first and third series of Picard. Second series, not so much. But you can't like everything. And like I keep saying to my brother, I'm going to continue to watch these things because I like sci-fi anyway. And sometimes, like, what I might not like today, I might like in 10 years time or whatever. It's not. Tastes change, don't they? So for example, like, I hated it. In fact, hated what was it called? Enterprise, you know, the one with Scott Bakula in, and I really wanted to like it because I really like, I really liked, Quantum Leap and stuff like that. So I didn't like it. I was like, oh, this is shit. I hated this. And then, like a couple of years ago, I started watching it, and I thought, blimey, this is actually good because it actually feels, it does very much feel like Star Trek, as opposed to some of the other iterations that they've made that don't really feel like they've got those Star Trek values, or it's just it's one of those things, I guess. It's got back in it, this little beagle that loved cheese. Yeah, I did quite like it. Um, Again, I suppose you can't win them all, can you? You know. So but I think that's it for me today, guys. Quite a short stream, only 2 hours. So, um, what was I going to say? Yeah, um, hope you guys like that. Uh, I think it might be because I've got monitors set to night, so there's kind of like a reddish haze on it. So when I'm looking at it on the monitor, and I'm like, that doesn't look quite how I'd expect it to. But when I look at it on the paper, it kind of looks how I was expecting it to. I put in some splatter in there because I kind of like the engine splatter in these types of areas. Um, so yeah, hopefully the next stream it'll be a Cinnable. Do you know what? I'm not. This is the problem when you're doing stuff like this. You're always like, there's always something in there. Um, Always something. Uh, so, for example, I really wanted some really really bright lines up here. Um, so yeah, hopefully next time it'll be a Cinnable. Uh, Fingers crossed. But I will be doing some other stuff, and I do plan on actually playing games on here as well. I just need to figure out what games I want to play when I've got time to do it. You know. No worries. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, we've just noticed there's a couple of little there's a little light there. And you know what? Just because I can, I'm going to put a little light just there. Just because. Night rule. You have a nice night, mate. Just because I can. Yeah, I do plan on playing some games on stream, like maybe going from, instead of like just doing the art stream like now, and then just ending it, I might go on to be like, oh, maybe I'll play some games, um, from here, move on. Oh, it's quite nice because you can still see that some of the pencil work here behind the actual image. I haven't gone overly detailed on any one part or anything, so it is quite rough. It's quite nice. So I do kind of like that. The Dramiel that I did last, I kind of went. Uh, yeah, I kind of ended up going into quite a lot of detail with it and stuff like that. But I've painted Dramiels and drawn Dramiels before, so I know where more of that is. And it's very once you know something a bit better, it's hard to like not put the detail or things in that is there, and it's also easier for you to allude to the detail because you know what's where and how best to approach or not approach that. Um, So there is a variety of reasons why it can be quite hard sometimes to go and do like a loose shit. Oh, what happened there? That wasn't supposed to happen. Do you know what? I'm gonna leave it. That's me done for the night, guys. All right. So thanks for tuning in, and hope you've enjoyed tonight's stream, and I hope you have a pleasant night. All right. I'm not gonna raid anyone because I don't know who's doing what. So, and I'm sure everyone watching has got their own little streams that they're watching anyway. So enjoy your nights, guys, and love to see you again. Pete, send me a message on Discord if you can. All right. So see you later, guys.